And I'm Anna, and welcome to today's message. The message today is God fights for you from Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Well, what does that mean? God will fight for you and be still. Well, it means we don't have to worry, be anxious, or discouraged when bad things happen in our lives. When things seem hopeless and it's just all a bit too much, we might be tempted to doubt God. And in times when things seem too much for me, when life feels uncertain, well, I go straight to my Bible and I pray about it. And I'm here to remind you that there's nothing that God can't handle on our behalf because He promised to care for us, lead us on our divine journey, and love us unconditionally. You see, divine intervention in our daily lives and trusting God is a very powerful message about spiritual warfare in our human existence. Sometimes it feels like a tall order to just relinquish our control, our fear, and our anxiety. You know, we humans, we're creatures of habit, and we like to control things. And especially when we're in crisis, we want the answer right this minute. And, you know, the world encourages us to fight and be self-reliant and be in constant movement and manage our lives. It seems normal to act in uncertain ways during chaos and desperation. And when we're filled with fear, well, it feels like there's nowhere to go. But the truth is that in a moment such as that is when we are defined. And it's a critical turning point, a crossroad in our life where we stand between going toward God or running the other direction. And your choice, well, that verifies your trust in divine intervention by God. You see, how we respond to life's challenges says a lot about our faith and about our trust in our mighty God. In Exodus, you learn about the Israelites being liberated under Moses' leadership after being enslaved for many generations by the Pharaoh. And just when they thought they were free, well, the Pharaoh changed his mind and he went after them. And it was Moses who reminded them, the Israelites, of God's promise to fight for them. But they had to be still and trust in God's promise because, well, their plan to escape just wasn't going to work. They were coming against the Red Sea and getting themselves trapped between the sea and the Pharaoh's army. And this is where they were defined in their faith, where they were helpless. And we all know the end of this story. Well, Moses was commanded to lift his rod and stretch out his hand over the sea and divide it, which he did, and they passed on dry ground across the sea with walls of water on both sides. And the Pharaoh's army went on to that same route after them and perished in the sea when it was returned to normal under God's command. But God saved the Israelites. You see, in our lives, we come against giant obstacles and complications, our own Red Sea moments. And they seem sometimes larger than we can manage. And when we lack faith and assurance in God, well, we're left feeling defeated. And I'm here to remind you that God's in control. He'll bring you to victory. But it doesn't mean that we won't have battles to fight, or that we won't feel defeated or uncertain or overwhelmed. But it does mean that God will fight the battle and bring us safely back to the safety of His promise. Yesterday you heard me saying suffering produces endurance, endurance produces character, and character brings hope. This is the crossroad I speak of, where we choose to follow God or drown in the sea. You can choose a life of endurance, character, and hope, and choose the armor of God, knowing that He is fighting for you. Or you can choose spiritual warfare. And it's your choice. We get that choice as humans. I recommend that you choose to trust God. So today's message is this. When you trust God to fight your battles, well, you don't have to worry about anything. And it might seem like, you know, some are trying to seal your fate and steal your faith and leave you defeated and drowning in a sea of doubt. But it is God who is in control. And God can manage it for you. You just have to give it to Him. So have faith and be still while He cares for you. Choose God's victory and unconditional love and rest in the promises of God, not in humans. Relinquish control and trust in God and surrender and know that he is God. Be still in his presence because he's fighting for you. He does it because he loves you, because he made a promise to you. So trust that. Because, my friends, God's unconditional love was and is now the answer. If this resonated with you, please like and share my post. And thank you for your donations to My Divine Mission and for helping me to keep my messages alive. I'll see you next time.